Yeah, so this week thousands of families across the country, they've been notified that they're losing their homes. And there's just this huge wave of evictions and foreclosures happening right now. And the stories people are sharing online, they're absolutely heartbreaking.
I lost my home today. I genuinely don't know what to do for my family. I spent years building plans, stocking food, building skill sets, and prepping for every kind of disaster. But sometimes life just kicks you in the teeth. I received a certified letter this morning saying that my home was sold at tax sale on September 11th. Had no idea I was behind until I got that certified letter. And based on what the lawyer told me, we can't afford to get it back. My family's facing the very nightmare that I tell you guys to prepare for every day. I wanted you to hear this because preparing isn't just storing food, bug out bags, or gear. It's about resilience when everything falls apart, especially in your own life. I'm not telling you this because I want your sympathy. I'm telling you this because real survival is raw, ugly, and real. No one is untouchable. If you think it can't happen to you, you really need to think again. If you're not prepared, one bad break could change your life overnight. Even the most prepared can fall. What matters is how we pick ourselves back up, but I'm pretty sure this one's going to take me a while to get back. Never occurred to me when I bought this van that a year later I'd end up living in it.
I always knew I was going to have to make one of these at some point in my life, but I didn't think it would be this soon. My roommate got arrested for getting in a fight with one of his coworkers at the Olive Garden and hit him with his car in the parking lot after being sent home. And now I don't know how I'm going to afford my rent. I really just want to cry. I want to cry, but I'm not allowing myself to do so. He's been doing so well with this temper. So well with this temper as of late. And he has a year sober, and he had to go and hit someone with his fucking car.
Man, one of the most humbling experiences is losing your apartment, bro. Like, if you ever lost an apartment or had to move out your apartment because you couldn't afford to pay your bills, bro, you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about that's the worst feeling ever. Like, you instantly go from being comfortable every night to being in your own bed to, man, sleeping on somebody's couch, man, having to go back to your mama's house.
So I have a quick update, guys. Today the sheriffs came by and posted that I have until Friday to vacate the premises. So on my lunchtime, I'm going to go get some boxes. I also lost my wallet on Friday. I didn't notice.
Okay, y'all, bear with me because I had to write something down so I can get my point across clearly and concisely while still being respectful. I just want to talk about what's really happening with rent in the town that I live in. So, I don't know. There's this new landlord group. It's called Pied Piper Realty. They go by PPG. They're a group of investors who've bought over $9 million worth of rental property in this town that I live in. It's basically created a bit of a monopoly with our local rental market. Because of them, some families are seeing their rent go up by even 50%. So 3 bedrooms that were costing $650 a month are now $1,300 a month in rent. This town's population, the town I live in, is less than 23,000 people. These are not just numbers. This is people actually losing their homes. This is a very serious issue. My family is one of the families that is directly impacted by this. And what's worse is that these families that are on month-to-month leases, like my own, are now being forced to sign new fixed-term leases within 7 days. And these are for properties that need serious repairs and maintenance. The landlord is making these promises to do light repairs. Included in that description are painting and replacing light fixtures. Not to mention there are many families that have rodent issues, that have plumbing issues. My house has electrical issues, you name it. With this, they are threatening these families, if they don't comply, to sign that new lease with this increased rental amount within 7 days, that they will be served a 30-day notice to vacate.
And this is just really, really hard to see. I mean, these are people who did everything right. They were planning, they were trying to prepare for things, But then one thing happens, maybe a roommate situation, maybe a letter that they didn't know about, and everything just falls apart. And there's just no safety net anymore. So what's actually driving all of this? Let's look at what's been happening with rent prices.
Are people on the East Coast okay? Because right now, I cannot figure out why anybody lives here when we just got a $900 rent increase. $900. I need to majorly put this into perspective. Moved here from the Kansas City metro area called Johnson County, Kansas. Very nice area, good suburb, good schools, and paid less money now for our 6-bedroom, 5,300 square foot house. And we're currently paying for our 1,700 square foot 3-bedroom apartment. I'm so grateful that we have a nice place to live. It still is the crappiest place that I've lived in my life. I don't know what we're gonna do because there's no way in hell that I'm paying $5,000 a month to live in this apartment. That's absolutely asinine. This is so wrong. Are people okay? It just got raised my monthly grocery bill. Like, this is absolutely wild.
I'm trying to enjoy my last days within this unit that I've been renting for so long. Really sad that I have to leave because they decided to raise my rent $700, and I already pay $2,300 without parking fees, which is $185, and plus utilities. So I'm paying $2,600 a month, and they still decided to raise my rent for another $700. So they want me to pay now $3,000 base rent. Are you kidding me?
Not nurse content, but kind of nurse content. Definitely healthcare content. I just had one of the more sobering moments that I've ever had as a landlord. You guys know that I have the house in Florida that I do rent out to long-term renters. And then I bought a house here in Lexington that I am currently living in at this travel assignment, but eventually I will rent this one too. So tell me why. I just get a call from my property manager that I have a rental applicant that works for a very well-known, very large level 1 trauma in Central Florida and has worked there for several years. They need rental assistance. This applicant that works for one of the largest level 1 traumas in the entire state of Florida requires rental assistance. And to be real clear, this is me talking shit about the hospital, not about the person. Because what the fuck do you mean? Someone that works in healthcare and has worked in healthcare for years can't afford rent to live in a decent commute to their job. And the fact that there are other people out there, other landlords and complexes that would automatically just write this person off because they require rental assistance. They work in healthcare. I'm disgusted. I'm angry. And I feel really sad about that. This is why Florida healthcare workers travel outside of the state to make a living. Ridiculous. Okay, bye.
My rent is going up almost $300 a month, okay? I'm confused. I'm lost, dumbfounded. Everywhere in my city, everybody going up in apartments, okay? These are just 1 bedrooms. I pay $1,100 a month for 1 bedroom right now. If I resign my lease, it'd be $1,300, okay? Not including maintenance fees, not including all the utilities and all that stuff. But it's all said and done, I'll be spending $1,600, $1,700 to live there, okay? When it's all said and done. My thing is, what do these landlords think we're making out here? Okay? Everybody not making all that kind of money like this. I'm a truck driver. As you can see, I'm in this truck right now. Truck drivers don't get raises, okay? We don't get raises. I barely made enough to make 3 times the rent already. But now it's just going up. I don't know what's going to happen. I make $4,000 a month. I don't know. Well, I make that, but after taxes and all that, you know how that goes. It's about 36, something like that. I won't be able to afford that place anymore I live at right now. So I got to move. I'm probably considering living in my truck, maybe.
It sucks, but people are really drowning right now. Looking at the comments for my video about rent prices was like honestly depressing. You know, it's so many people out there that are in these situations, these circumstances where they can't afford their rent. Like some of the prices that people were saying for the square footage that they were getting is insane. And I think this tells us one thing, that a lot of people are struggling financially. And let this be a reminder that you should take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Somebody just got a new car, they, going on vacations. It's not to say that people can't afford to do these things right now, but just take it with a grain of salt, because most likely they're struggling, they're drowning too. I've even seen people comment down below saying like, oh, should we still be paying 50-50? Should it be the man 100%? And hey, I may tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie, man. Two incomes is more than one, especially during these times. Comment down below what your rent prices are in your city, because people need to see that this is all over. It's not just where you're at. And most importantly, God bless.
I don't know what is going on right now, but it's not making sense, okay? People keep building apartments, keep building these sky-rise, luxury apartments, etc. Who are you putting in these? The real estate market is dropping. Everyone can't even afford rent. And then, F all that, okay? To get into an apartment, 3 times the rent, 6 times the rent, credit score gotta be 800, da-da-da-da, you don't know. Why do you keep building apartments if they're just gonna sit empty? All these apartments are sitting empty because to get into an apartment, because my friend's trying to get into an apartment right now, and it is, you would think she's trying to get into the freaking White House, the Vatican. Like, it is ridiculous trying to get approved for an apartment nowadays. Thank God I have one. Blessed be God. Blessed be the good Lord. Because what is happening? What is happening? Why are y'all charging an astronomically amount of rent? 1. 2, to even get into an apartment. First off, don't y'all need people in there? But then you're going to jump through hoops to get in there? Oh, we need your security deposit. It's going to be $1,000. If you don't get approved, they don't send that back for they can take up to 30 days. But y'all want that right now. And they'll take it out of your account quick. But it takes you a week, a month to send it back. I just don't get it. It's giving wasted time to me because y'all keep building these apartments and you're not even putting anybody in it because, oh, you don't qualify. So who qualifies? 6 times the rent. The rent is $3,000. Who makes that, bro? Do you even make that? You don't. So why are you trying to look in my friend's face talking about you need to pay 6 times the rent? Baby, you don't make 6 times the rent. I'm confused. Stop building apartments if you're not going to put people in them.
Landlords are actually losing their minds. I just saw a video from some girl talking about how her rent in New York City is getting raised over 10% for her lease renewal, and I thought I had it bad. My landlord so kindly offered an 8.9% increase, which is still absurd. Obviously, I tried to negotiate as I do every year, and they so kindly decreased that 8.9% to 5.3%, which is still awful. And when New York City rent is already thousands of dollars, every little bit of a percent is hundreds at that point. Where are they even coming up with these numbers? Inflation isn't anywhere near that. And the average rental increase for this area, also nowhere near that. A lot of people can't afford to stay, but other people can't afford to leave. I definitely don't want to see people getting priced out of their homes, priced out of their neighborhoods. If you're already at the bottom threshold of rent in your area and they still raise it, what can you do? And guess how much my annual raise was at work? 0%. Love it here.
So what's happening is rent is going up significantly. We're talking about $700, $800, $900 increases in a single year. And wages, well, they're not going up like that, are they? Maybe you get a small raise, 2%, 3%, if you're lucky, but it's not keeping up. And where are people supposed to go? Obviously, every apartment in the area is doing similar things. So let's look at what else is happening with the economy.
Complexes have officially started the eviction process for a lot of people because of the government shutdown. And in case y'all don't understand just how deep it actually is, even if the workers were to start getting paid right now, today again, y'all do know that they still got to pay back pay for at least this past month or month and a half that they haven't been able to pay their bills, let alone rent. So when you think about it, yes, understand just how bad it must be for people to expect that you will continue working without pay. But do you not understand what it's like to get paid eventually again and have to figure out all this stuff that you about to owe from when you couldn't pay? People are losing their vehicles that they already been robbing Peter to pay Paul to make payment on before the government shut down. Now they just gonna lose it all together and probably not even gonna have enough for a down payment to get another one because the credit gonna be shot because of the other things that they
just stand behind you and talk about something. Yeah. Okay. Here in New York City, one of the most expensive places in America to live, this man right here has made his home on the streets. He said he could no longer afford to pay rent. Here, the average rent is around $4,500 a month, while the minimum wage is $16 an hour. This man says, I no longer can afford to pay rent. He's literally moved all his belongings outside. He's out here sitting on a chair, relaxing. Has his seat, he has his blankets, his cushions from his couch, pallets, and he says he's living a great life now. He says, I have no overhead. I've never felt more free as he's living here on the streets in New York City. It's so expensive to live here. People are literally going homeless on the streets.
So a lot of people are choosing the option of living in their cars simply because they cannot afford to pay rent. In North Carolina, the rent prices are pretty high, but they're not as high as some places that I have seen. People paying $3,000 for $5,000 for a one bedroom? Where they do that at, friend? Because who in their right mind can afford that when wages just have not increased? So a lot of people are taking their cars, they're turning them into, their own little home. They're taking RVs, they're taking vans, and they're camping that way. Now, if you have a full-time job, I can see how you could save a significant amount of money by doing this. Now, of course, if you're not working, it would be a lot harder. But what the person needs is food, water, shelter, and protection. Your home, that becomes your car. Food, you can go to food banks. You may have a little bit of money coming in here and there. You use that for food, water. Water is free, protection, whatever you have. So I can see why people do it, but I think that everybody should have a home to live in that's not their car.
Hey, did you know that young people between the ages of 20 and 29 are leaving Florida in record numbers? And it's not because they don't love the sunshine. It's because they can't afford to live here anymore. Between rising rents, sky high homeowners insurance, and wages that don't keep up, they're forcing the young people out. And when they leave, Florida loses its future workforce, its innovation, and its energy. As your next congressman, I'll fight to bring down the cost of living by tackling the insurance crisis, investing in affordable housing, and pushing for wages that match today's economy. Florida should be a place where young people can build their lives and not be forced to leave.
Wow. Foreclosures have increased from 18% in September to 20% in October. Foreclosures are 20%. That is higher than last year at this time. Auto repossessions are skyrocketing. We just hit the highest debt that we have had in years, reported by credit agencies. We've got delinquencies, bankruptcies, missed payments for credit cards, student loans. Those are now delinquent. The amount that is 90 and above is catastrophic. People are laid off. They've lost their job. People are not spending. Jobs are not hiring. Of course, people don't have money to pay their bills. Also, we are in day 36, the longest government shutdown in history, and millions of people are not getting paid. We are heading for something we have not seen in my lifetime. I don't think this is just going to be a recession. I think this is going to be a depression. Hi, my name is Christina. I have a master's degree in business. I normally tell you to get your finances in order, but I know rent is 50% of what most people live off, and wages haven't caught up.
And this is where everything kind of comes together. You have people not getting paid because of government shutdowns, foreclosures are going up, auto repossessions are going up, credit cards, student loans, people are missing payments. And the thing is, if you can't pay your rent for even 1 month, that eviction process can start pretty quickly. There's no grace period. So people are thinking, well, what about buying a home?
I'm an American citizen who did everything right. Got a full ride to college. In fact, college actually paid me to go to college. I have a job that I love that pays well, and I can't afford to live here. So if you think that we're being dumb or lazy or just not quite smart enough to make it by, fuck you. It's hard out here, and it's not because we're not trying. It's not because we didn't do everything right the first time around.
Gen Z is so broke they can't even afford to purchase a home, according to a new report by Redfin. For many young adults, the dream of home ownership is simply out of reach. While previous generations built wealth through real estate, Gen Z is facing an uphill battle against skyrocketing home prices, crazy high mortgage rates, and stagnant wages. Let's take a look at some of this data. So only about 30% of Gen Z adults ages 18 to 27 own a home, compared to 39% of millennials and 48% of Gen Xers at the same age, according to this data. The median home price has surged past $400,000, while mortgage rates hover around 7%, making it harder than ever for first-time home buyers to afford their monthly payments. In contrast, baby boomers in the 80s often secured mortgage rates below 5%, with home prices averaging $70,000, a fraction of today's cost. Gen Z also faces another major barrier to home ownership: student loan debt. Many Gen Zers are dealing with ridiculously high student loan payments alongside rising rents, making it impossible to save up for a down payment. This was not as much of a barrier for other generations. Boomers and Gen Xers benefited from lower college tuition costs and stronger job markets when they were starting out. Despite the challenges, though, some Gen Zers are getting creative by turning to side hustles, pulling money together with friends or family, and working 2 to 3 jobs at a time to afford the dream of home ownership. But unless wages catch up to the housing costs, the American dream of home ownership may remain just that, a dream.
Sometimes I get really sad because I know that I will never be able to afford a house. And I would like to. I would like to own a house. My dad has offered to help me buy a house, but even with the large amount of money that he has offered to loan me, give me, I still cannot afford a house. I just can't. I have researched, like, okay, I pay this much in rent. I probably can't pay any more than this in a mortgage. So what can I afford? Well, nothing in California. Nothing. Not even a condo. Not even land. Nothing. I could probably afford something in the middle of nowhere, middle of nowhere, US. Again, with my dad's help. I don't understand how people are paying these huge multi-thousands of dollars a month mortgages for these teeny tiny little shacks, these teeny tiny little homes. I don't understand how has it come to this? I don't understand. Makes me really frustrated. I would love to live in a house with my daughter, and I'm just never gonna get there.
Yeah, so buying a home is just really difficult right now for a lot of people. Home prices are very high, over $400,000. Mortgage rates around, 7%? And then even if you can somehow afford all of that, there's the insurance situation. In places like California, Florida, insurance companies are not offering policies, or they're extremely expensive. So even if people want to buy, they're having a hard time making that happen. So I have been thinking about this because for a long time, the way it worked was that you would rent for a while, you'd save up, you'd buy a home, and that would help you build equity, and that was kind of the plan. But that is just not working for so many people right now. And I understand, I really do. Renting is so expensive, and buying is really difficult to do. And I've been seeing people say that they're living in their cars, they're moving in with family, and it's just a really tough situation right now. And obviously this isn't something that's going to fix itself quickly. So you got to start thinking about this. What can you do? Maybe it means having roommates for a while, even if that's not what you want. Maybe it means moving to a less expensive area. Maybe it means living with family temporarily so you can save up some money. And I know it's not ideal, I know that. But sometimes that's what you got to do at the end of the day to try to get ahead. So, what are your thoughts on this? Are you dealing with this where you live? Have you gotten crazy rent increases? Please let me know down below and where you live. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.